All right. Woo. Look. I got that wow. Who wants some hands up right now? We got that. Turn it up loud. I know you're wondering how. I got that wow. Here I go, coming. I can't ever stop. I'm a tour de force running. Get me to the top. I don't need an invitation. I'm about to start a celebration.
Hello.
Hello.
How is everyone tonight?
Doing great.
Doing well.
Yeah? Great.
It's
Friday night.
It's Halloween Eve and Friday night for Amy.
Yeah.
It is. Yes. Well, this is 3 Cocktails In, where we have addicting conversations between friends who have been
Absolutely.
there, done that, still want more. Right?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Do you know what I don't want more of?
What?
Halloween candy. I've been sitting with a tub of Halloween candy in my office for the last week, and I am unable to say no to that candy,
Yeah.
but I've had it.
I know, me
Twix
too.
suck. Kit Kat bars, bad. I
Mhm.
can't eat Snickers because every time I do, I end up coughing. And yet, I'm still opening the wrappers and eating them. Today, I tried an Airhead for the first time in like 25 years.
Oh, yeah. And you can't eat very many of those because your tongue gets raw.
Well, the Airhead, the first bite of the watermelon Airhead, I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And like by the third chew of it, it was like chewing like Play-Doh.
I know.
No
Plastic.
flavor, bad texture. Blah.
Yeah, it's weird. Airheads are a weird
Yes.
texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to
Yes, they
I
are
went
a
to-
weird texture.
I went to Walmart yesterday. I had a coffee meeting really early yesterday morning. And so I thought, all right, in Eden Prairie, so I'm going to pop over to Walmart because you guys, I'm telling you, they have some really cute clothes lately. And I never thought that I would buy clothes at Walmart, but my sister has picked up a couple of really cute things. So last time I was in Sioux Falls, we went and very cute things. So I thought, all right, I'm just going to pop over there. And also we hadn't gotten the Halloween candy yet. So I bought the 2 big bags of Halloween candy. We never know what we're going to get for kids. Sometimes we get 2 kids. Sometimes we get 30. But you have to be prepared for 30 or more. So I bought the 2 bags and they're the fun size. So
The bigger ones.
no, yeah, they're the smaller ones. So there's fun size. And then these are,
Oh, you mean the little bitty squares?
yes.
They
Oh.
should call not fun size.
I know. That's why I said the fun size. I'm like, what is fun about this? But the one bag that I got has Rolos in it.
Oh, I'd be picking those out and putting those aside.
So
Yeah.
I picked them out.
Away.
I ate them all. I ate them all already.
Oh.
So yeah, I picked them out. And I ate every single one of them.
Good
Tis
job.
the season. Yeah. Yep, you're the winner. Oh, I know. I have candy in my office, and I finally moved a bag over to the credenza in my office and put it in that drawer. So I would literally have to stand up and go over there to get it instead of having it right where I'm sitting.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah, sure. Sure, it works. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're getting your steps in now on the way to get the candy.
Right? Yeah. I don't think they equal, cancel each other out. I don't think.
Yeah.
No.
Mm.
Oh, well. Well, guess what we're talking about tonight?
I have no idea.
Oh, you didn't get the memo?
I did get the memo.
Okay.
I
Yes.
know what we're talking about.
Yes. We're going to talk a little bit about AI and, useful ways to use it, kind of like Google, because we all use Google.
And my favorite initials that I picked up from the long term, boyfriend that dumped me with a Post-it note. No, over text. GTS. GTS. Google that shit. Perfect answer when somebody asks you or says, I don't know how to do that. I have sent GTS before.
Yeah.
My answer to those people are, hey, there's this new thing called Google. You should try it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Brand new. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, wow, it's too bad that we don't have full blown computers in our pockets that we carry around with us every day. I know it is. I mean, when we think back to before we had the internet, how did we find information? It was the library. You'd have your trusty sources, but I am so grateful for this age of technology that we live in. Certainly, there are things that I know you hear people talk about all the time. I don't like how my technology tracks me and all of these things, but I'm one of those people that looks at it and says, I'm grateful for it because all of it is making my life better. Makes it easier for me to find things, easier for me to buy things that I want to buy. It serves up content to me based on what I'm searching for. All of that, in my view, is good. And I don't know. There's going to be people who sit on both sides of that conversation. But when AI started to rear its head, and that's not new either. AI has been around for a very long time. It feels very, very new to a lot of people. But it's been interesting how many people have looked at it and said, it's bad. I don't want anything to do with it. Nope, I don't want it. I don't want to learn it. And that's not a great point of view, in my opinion. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today.
We are. Yes. Can I give examples of how AI is used that you don't know? There's a big difference between like using a chat bot or we'll talk maybe some about ChatGPT, which is the first thing I used anyway. But just general things, that AI is used for. For instance, like when you're on your Netflix account or searching for movies or whatever, it tells you, based on what you've watched, you might like this. That's exactly AI, because AI takes data, collects data, looks at different trends or things that you've watched. Like, for instance, Kitty, you're probably watching all your Halloween movies, right? So It's probably also at the same time suggesting Halloween movies, to you at the same time. Exactly what AI is.
Yeah. Yes, and that's been around for a long time, and we've been using Netflix and all of these streaming services for years. And that function has been there for quite a while. It keeps getting better and better. But yes, that's a very common use of it.
Yeah. Same thing like with your, fraud protection, like on your credit cards or your, bank account and all those kind of things. It's checking to make sure, collecting data, looking at data again, and making sure there's not something strange and unusual going on. Again, that's AI. There's not people sitting there digging through all your information trying to find those kinds of things.
I drive a lot for work and have ended up in different locations and needed to put gas in the car. And if I put my credit card in, I'm not at all surprised by how many times it asks me to input my zip code, my billing zip code. When I go to my regular locations, it never asks me that.
Right.
So that is a great example of how AI has been working behind the scenes for a long time.
Right.
So let me ask, why do we think now because before nobody called that AI. Nobody talked about that as being AI.
Yeah.
Why now has this become a thing? Why do you think that it is part of the ever evolving conversation, especially in business? I mean, I know why I use it and how I use it, but
Mhm.
what was the event or the person that set this off as the discussion now about AI?
Mhm.
Do you guys know? Do you remember? I don't
Um,
know. I'm asking.
yeah. Oh,
We should
we should GTS.
GTS. Mhm.
I was going to say, or pop that into ChatGPT.
Right.
So for me, the Googling, so I still do that, but oftentimes I'm kind of, but I'm oftentimes asking more of a compound question. So not only what is, but how can I? And so when you combine all of that into one, ChatGPT spits it out. My guess is that once we started having these engines, and I think ChatGPT, we'll just refer to it as ChatGPT because that's probably the most recognized. There are tons of them.
It's like
Um,
Kleenex, like big
yes,
Kleenex for
yeah.
facial
Um,
tissue. Yeah.
but all of a sudden, people realized that you could plug questions in there and it would just lay it all out for you. Versus with Google, it will say, "Here's what you can read," or here's an article, here's an article, here's an article. What what the AI is doing for us now is that it's scraping the entire internet and it's pulling together all of the information, distilling it down, and putting it into a very readable fashion. So the concern for a lot of people is, well, isn't that taking all of the, isn't that making it too easy for people? Isn't that, an application with education? People are saying, well, how do we know that kids aren't going to use it to write their papers? Well, you know what? They are. Sure, they are. But so the education system has had to figure out how to detect that when they are, and how to use it appropriately so that it can help students actually learn better. From a business perspective, because I know all three of us use it in business and in our personal lives, I think we all love it because you can pop a prompt in there, and the way that I look at it is it just gets us started. It might write you an outline. It might write you the first pass at an article or a blog post or whatever. But we, as the human being, we need to make it better. And so the big debate that I think you hear people talk about mostly is AI going to take jobs away from people? And the common answer, I believe, that whenever I hear people talk about this on a panel is, well, the artificial intelligence will only be able to take it so far before you need the human touch on it to make it better, to make it the tone right. It's never going to spit out perfect content.
Right.
So I don't know what the thing was when all of a sudden people realized how we can be using it in the ways that we're using it today, but it happened really, really fast.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I and maybe we were going to talk about this. I don't know what the outline was, but you've mentioned a couple times prompt,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the human element. That
Mm-hmm.
right there is the key to Chat GPT.
Mm-hmm.
You have got to input the correct prompts. The better your prompts, the better the output. And
Yeah.
what I like so much about it is you're able to say, or you could even upload something you've already written and
Mm-hmm.
say, copy this tone and pattern,
Yeah.
and then have it do whatever you want it to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I use it on occasion for when I'm writing description of homes, because sometimes I'll have four homes that are the exact same home. They there's it is the same floor plan. And you have 10, 12 homes in your neighborhood. Sometimes your brain just kind of fizzles, and you want just like you want all the pictures to be different, you want to capture the reader's attention. And the way to do that is to make sure that they're reading something different each time. So I'll put one in and I'll say rewrite and appeal to, maybe it'd be appeal to a millennial buyer. Rewrite, let's just say if the home is a one level home, rewrite and appeal to someone downsizing.
Yeah.
You can list you need the human element to
Right.
set up the parameters that you want AI then to work with.
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. It is. And it's good, fast
so
information, very fast.
Mhm. Yes, freaky fast. I mean, it's
Yeah.
too bad that Jimmy John's has the trademark on that, because it is it's amazing. So this is interesting too. So I actually with ChatGPT, I have 2 accounts, and I have done that for a very specific reason. So one is for my jewelry business, and the other one was for my previous company. And the reason that I've done that is because you can train your account to know the brand. So in the beginning of my usage with my jewelry business, ChatGPT, which is just basically logged in with that email address and different password, I said, here's who I am. My name is Kitty Hart. I'm the owner of Good Glam. This is fashion jewelry. Here's who we appeal to. This is our vibe, our tone, our personality. I just gave it. I put in all of this intel basically about me and my business. So then every prompt that I put into it, it knows to take it from that perspective, to take it from the Good Glam perspective. And then likewise over in my previous business with Heroic, it knew that brand. My other account knew that brand. So I didn't have to tell it every time certain things. It knew to craft its responses in the tone that I had set up in it. So that's that's a handy little tip for people who might be managing lots of different types of content, or using it for lots of different types of content or different brands.
Right. And on the other hand, yeah. And on the other hand, if you were new to it, I've been using Snapchat, my AI in Snapchat, and I've been using it just like Google. Like you mentioned, Google, you kind of have to pick through, things, or, to get what you want to read. But if you, do the same thing, prompt it, type in your question, it spits out an answer really fast in Snapchat. So I kind of like that. You can save it in there. I think one question I have, that how it could be, if there is bad to it, have you noticed all the things on social media or pictures or ads that, are kind of like faking famous people, or, like I just saw one today. I was looking through some things, had to be AI, because there were these cute little toddlers walking the runway in these really super fancy Halloween costumes. There's no way they were real. And the reason I could tell is how they were walking, like Thor was walking like Thor would, they didn't trip. They didn't have, they didn't have any crazy expression, it was totally, AI had to be, so that's the thing. I'm not sure, and I don't know how you'd ever regulate it, but to me, some of those things. Or like you see an ad for something that's a famous person, their mouth isn't quite moving with exactly with, you know what I mean? With what you're saying, you can kind of figure out that can't be, can't be real.
Didn't Scarlett Johansson have a lawsuit because somebody developed an AI type of persona or a commercial or something, and it was her, and she didn't do it.
Right.
That was not. It wasn't her face. She never gave any permission, and one would never be able to tell. And I think she won a pretty good lawsuit about it. I did hear a panel with Justine Bateman, of all people, from, what was that, Family Ties, so very long ago. And it was actors and actresses talking about the use of AI in film. And she was adamantly opposed to the fact that all of those movies, all of those TVs, all that writing is creative work. That's somebody's work. And in many cases, you can't just run a movie and decide to show it to 500 people in your garage. You'll get in trouble for that.
Right.
But she's saying, that's just pure and simple theft. If you're taking all the movies, if AI is accessing all the movies and spitting out parts of all these different movies, they're stealing somebody's creative production.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really interesting to see when you talk about regulation and, how do you, we use it for creative purposes, but I don't think I'm stealing anybody's already written home blurbs
Right.
that are out there.
Yeah.
But it does pose some interesting conundrums that somebody's got to be figuring out.
Yeah.
It does.
So when you think about writers, so you've got writers who write for different publications. They're one of the industries that said, wait a minute, this is going to take my job away. Designers, I've had tons of conversation about this with previous companies that I've worked for, where they've said, you can plug all of these prompts. It's getting better and better and better. And it's now creating, visual as well. This is going to, it's been around for quite a while that you could use services like Fiverr and others to create a logo for you. And I think in the early days of that, they had a fleet of actual people, designers, but then it moved digital, and it's like Canva. You can pull up Canva and I can put in, I need a logo for a jewelry business and such and such, and it'll give me all the assets that I need for a logo. So the design industry also, it has been reeling about it, but I think they're kind of all coming back around to say, okay, let AI start the process, but then the talented designers need to make it finished product. And I think in general, there's some comfort coming to people who in the beginning were saying, this is the worst thing ever. What are we going to do? This is destroying our industry. There are effective and great ways to use it. Of course, there will always be people and businesses who will try to use it for bad. That's
Human
always
nature.
It's human nature. It has always happened.
Yeah.
So
as an example of that, I don't know that anybody's interested in this, but our podcast. So when we publish our podcast within the site we use, it uses AI to write 3-paragraph description or, quick
Synopsis
of what we talked about. So it does it automatically. We have to edit it every time because it just isn't always perfect. I can't always tell which one of us is talking about a certain theme. Like it'll say, in my podcast today instead of our, or it'll mess up, Amy's something that was really kitty and, different things like that. So you still have to edit it and you still have to go through some of it. At times I don't like, so I just take it out and change it, so that's exactly it. It gives you a really good start and really fast. Otherwise, it would take forever to write that. Sometimes I don't know that, it's fast. So we don't have to spend the time to think of what we want to write.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons we wanted to talk about this today is that we do hear a lot of people expressing disinterest and fear about it. I think especially when we started seeing it show up in Facebook. So in the search bar, it kind of flips back and forth between searching and Meta AI. And then we started seeing, comments from people saying, "Hey, Meta AI, I don't want any part of you, whatever. Facebook, put that bar back," or whatever. And it reminds me of, so what if when the telephone was invented, if people had said, "I don't want to have anything to do with the telephone. I don't need to communicate with someone in another house or another part of the city or another part of the country. I don't have any interest in that." When computers came out, "I don't have any interest in that. I don't want to know anything about that." These are modern advancements that if we don't at least try to understand them, and it doesn't mean that you have to use it every day, all day long, but as we are aging, so here the three of us sit in our mid-50s, we have kept up on every single thing in this technology age that we're living in. Oh my gosh, the things that we've seen, the advancements that we've seen, and we've kept up with them. And it's part of what keeps our brains young and vibrant, and it keeps us feeling like we know what's going on. Connected, yes, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
The whole idea that something new is introduced and you're going to say, no, no, I'm out. Time does not go backwards. We are not going back to not having computers. We're not going back to not having cell phones. We're not going back to, to a lot of things the way they were in 1990, 1980, 1950, for God's sake. You just have to look at every new thing that's adapted, every new thing that's been introduced as, okay, well, it's not going away, so how can I make the best of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Great.
And you know what? You don't have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of things, how do you know it's not helpful to you if you don't ever give it a try?
Right. Yeah. That's right. How would
people know they loved roasted beets if they never tried them?
They don't. Yeah. So how do we feel about autonomous cars? Someday we're going to see. I haven't seen one yet, but people see them. With no driver.
No,
like,
honestly,
woo.
that freaks me out.
I agree. But we're really quickly headed that direction. And I can tell you why. And I am always reminded of this because, and I go back to this a lot. Farmers already have it in their tractors and their combines. So they just, based on satellite, and it knows where they are and it knows how far they need to go. And they just sit there, and it drives. They're doing other things at the same time, making sure this is working right, make sure that's working, but it drives it and it gets to the end of the row and it turns it around and goes the other way. So, it's coming if we think that cars aren't gonna,
So I have a question about that. AI has decided that I like to watch 8-year-olds drive combines, evidently, 8 and 10-year-olds, because I get those in my reels all the time.
Okay.
And I'm really curious now that you said that. are they able to do it because they're so good at gaming and understand the screens that are in
Sure.
there? So they're not really driving it. They're just managing the
Yeah.
technology. Is that what they're doing?
Mhm. Yeah. But if they got in trouble, you could shut it down. You could shut it down pretty quick. I mean, it's not going to just keep going forever and they go in the ditch and have an accident. I mean, it knows if nobody's paying attention, it knows enough to stop. Yeah, so easy because they probably can't, some of them probably can't reach the floor and
No,
everything.
they're little old
Um,
legs.
Yeah, and if you don't think it's true, I just had a guy the other day say, "Oh yeah, my crew today is 11 and 15." So
I'm not aware of any of this. This is completely new to me. What?
yeah, yep,
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll
Okay.
send next time I get one of those reels, I'll send it your way.
Okay.
yep, yeah,
Now with my commute to work is now like 40 minutes each way. There are many a time when I would like a number of the drivers on the road to be replaced by an autonomous driver. I
Yeah.
think that that would be lovely,
Hmm.
especially if we had it, rules of the road. You
yeah,
don't get to use the cruise control in the left lane.
Hmm.
If you notice more than one person passed you on the right, you're in the wrong lane.
Yeah.
Go with the flow of traffic. We could
yeah,
maybe eliminate road rage.
Yeah.
yeah,
I look forward to it. I think it's going to be a really good thing. I'm glad that it's being tested, and I'm one of those people that it's like, I'm grateful for the early adopters of the all electric vehicles. All of those things. Get the kinks out. Figure out the technology so that 10 years from now, or whatever it's going to be, maybe it's not maybe going to be 10 years less than that for the autonomous vehicles, but I think it'll be great to have somebody or something else drive me around so that I can read or
yeah.
play a game on my phone
Play
or
on your phone.
whatever. Sounds good to me.
I know. Yep.
Oh my gosh, with
I can't parallel park anyway, so
I know. I wish my car had that feature. That would be nice.
you
Just
guys,
do it.
I I mentioned that I got a new car, right? A couple weeks ago, I got a new car. It's probably about a foot bigger than my last car. And it's got the cameras all the way around and the screen inside. And I'm really good at parallel parking because I have to be. I mean, I park in a garage, but there are many times that I park on the street. And I zipped in on my way to work the other day, wanted to stop at my favorite bakery down the street to just run in and get a jambon beurre, a baguette, to pretend I'm back to France. And I tried to use that screen and I had to like 5 maneuver, try it twice. And I was probably 4 feet from the curb. And I thought to myself, I'm going to do it the old fashioned way where I use my mirrors and I look out over my shoulder because I couldn't get the spatial awareness right between that screen and the red lines and the yellow lines that it was giving me. So I'm trying, but
Practice.
sometimes you do have to work the old school method.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how it would calculate that it's just not a big enough space and, want you to go somewhere else and not
Yeah.
park in.
Well, it was plenty big.
Yeah.
I just couldn't figure out how to,
Yeah.
So
I know.
I thought that was kind of funny. What the hell? These screens aren't helping me at all. Back in my day.
Uh-huh. That's, I think, a lot of it, and we're probably guilty of some things, I'm sure, that we're just, I don't know. I don't think we're afraid to do anything, afraid to look into any new technology. I just always, even the beginning of ChatGPT, I just couldn't wrap my head around how am I going to use this? How is this going to be beneficial? So I'm guessing that's more like it for most people. It's like, oh, I don't need to use this, or I don't need this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And maybe true, but it's not something to be afraid of. And,
And I think,
Well, I gotta tell you, I have never. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Amy.
Until you mentioned it, Kitty, I had never thought about using AI in place of Google.
Mm.
I saw them as two separate things. But now thinking about it, if I put it into AI, I'm not going to have to decide whether I want the dimensions or the definition or
Right.
the first 10 answers that are all sponsored by somebody trying to sell me something,
Yeah.
right.
that's in the wrong zip code, that whatever it is that doesn't apply. I
Yeah.
think I am going to use that a lot more for those things that I'm now using Google for.
Yeah.
Right.
If I have a simple question like, how tall is Patrick Mahomes? I'm going to put that one into Google. That is in my Google history, by the way. I'll put that into Google. But if it's more of a complex thing or a compound thing,
Like,
I'm going to put that into GPT.
Tell me about Patrick Mahomes.
There you
Then
go.
you're going to AI.
Tell me more. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's funny.
So real quick, last week I had an opportunity to facilitate a panel discussion that included Dave Anderson, who is the founder of Famous Dave's, and Steven Schussler, who is the founder of Rainforest Cafe, and apparently like the most successful or the most popular restaurant on the Disney properties. And it was fascinating to listen to these two businessmen who happen to have insanely successful restaurant chains also. And one of their main takeaways was to always be curious. And that is central to what we're talking about right here as well. Just be curious. We as adults have to let ourselves go back to when we were little and all we wanted to do was say, why, right, to everything. And we get that curiosity sort of knocked out of us as we become adults. Our creativity also knocked out of us. But hearing these two men who are 60s and 70s, probably very successful businessmen, they just couldn't say it enough. Just be curious. That will serve you well as you go through your life in general.
Well, you just, we were joking about Patrick Mahomes, but I'll tell you one of the best phrases that I use daily in all of my interactions with people who come into work is, tell me more about that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is they just said, that I don't quite understand where they're coming from, or maybe they don't know what they're trying to get out, but to just say, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
As opposed to, well, why are you XYZ, or why is that important? It's you get such a better answer and you learn more when you just open the door by saying, tell me more about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good open-ended question.
It is. They're probably more descriptive with their answer.
And it's curiosity.
Yeah.
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 That's good.
Cool. Remember a few weeks ago in our, I think maybe the last episode of our season 1, this is now season 2. Remember we were going to revive the shots. We have
3
shots for
shots.
something new. 3 shots for something new. Does anybody have a new shot for this one?
I do.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Do you have one, Stacey?
I have.
Okay, hang on. I need a visual aid.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, one moment.
Well, hello.
Hello, I'm back. I wonder if Stacy and I have the same
Oh,
because I
maybe.
shared it with her and then she.
No,
Are we sharing the same thing?
I don't think so. No, but you
All
go
right.
right. You go ahead.
Okay, so I went into Target. Kitty goes into Walmart. I went into Target. I haven't been in Target a long time. I tried to knock that step out. But I needed some stuff for work, my new office, some stuff, and I happened to walk right through the dollar aisles, which are now $1, $3, $5 aisles, and they have a bunch of their Christmas stuff out. And I am fully in the camp that thou shalt not decorate for Christmas until after Thanksgiving dishes are done. I mean, that's just kind of me. But look what they have. They have little itty bitty light up houses
Yeah, for
Oh,
$3.
cute.
Aren't they
They're
cute?
so cute. So
There's
I
different
bought,
colors. Yeah, there's
there's
different
different
colors.
heights, different colors, and they're $3. So I have them tucked into my plants.
Cute.
Yeah.
So
they were
I would
there.
say go now
Mhm.
because by the time you actually want to start decorating, and although these are Christmas, with the Christmas stuff, there's nothing Christmassy about
No,
this.
no, totally
They're
not.
just darling. $3.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
That's
I
my
also
shot.
got some of they're 6-inch high, I would guess, kind of like a silver mirror.
Kind of looks like mercury glass.
Yes, it does. Mercury glass, little Christmas trees that light up also that are really cute. And I kind of have a lot of that stuff at Christmas time anyway, so I got some of those. Yeah.
Yes.
They were cute.
Darling stuff.
Yeah, it is. Okay, mine is when I went to Hy-Vee. Did you know Fresca has a flavor?
Yes.
I
Yes.
didn't
I've
know
had
that.
different flavors of Fresca.
I didn't
So
know that.
good.
I thought
Yes.
Fresca was Fresca. So yeah, I found black cherry citrus Fresca.
They also do either an orange or a mango something.
Oh, that would be good also.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, so there's my thing. Did you think of anything, Kitty, while we were on
Okay.
break there for a minute and left you alone?
I have this queued up and ready to go. So, the new Tom Hanks and Robin Wright series that is coming out looks like it releases on November 1st. Have you heard about this?
I've
No,
seen-
what is it?
It's
you know.
called it's called Here. This is going to be fascinating. So they take Tom Hanks and Robin Wright and they make them young again and older as well. So is this Netflix or is this in the movie theater? Do you know, Stacy?
No, it's like a series.
The series.
It's on-
Okay.
So
So
I don't know if it's Netflix, but it's on some streaming.
okay.
Something.
So it's Robert Zemeckis who did Forrest Gump and other things, probably also with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. And it looks so good. So the little one-line description here: multiple generations of couples and families inhabit the same home over the course of a century, and so that's how they show, them really young and then aging. And I am just, I can't wait to see it. Just from, again, I don't, in the movie industry, I don't know how they make movies like this. There's so many things about Forrest Gump. I don't know how they, it's all animation that doesn't look like animation. That feather that would, bounce through the air at certain times in Forrest Gump. I just think it's going to be a really cool movie from the effects standpoint. And it's going to just look like regular everyday life. It's going to be good.
Right. So when they're really young, I wonder if that's AI because it looks like them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
It-
if that's a part of the effects, if that's really what movie effects are, is it AI?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know how they do that. How
I don't
fascinating for the two of them as actors who had such iconic roles together, to be able to do a series like this and see themselves together young again and then older. I don't know. I can't wait. So November 1st.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
there are a lot of good ones coming up. I'm excited for winter viewing.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are. I think we're going to have a whole show and talk about some new stuff.
Yep. New
Okay.
stuff.
Well, I think
All
we're going to
right.
sign out. Sign out of this one. Thanks everyone who always listens and watches and shares and follows us and everything.
Everything.
Right.
Thanks for being here.
All right. Yep.
All right.
Have a good week.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Bye.
All right. Woo. Look, I got that wow. Who wants some hands up right now? We got that. Turn it up loud. I know you're wondering how. I got that wow. Here I go, coming. I can't ever stop. I'm a tour de force running. Get me to the top. I don't need an invitation. Knock, knock. I'm about to start a celebration. Let me in. Brought a good time plus some friends. Turn it up loud past 10. Turning up the crowd.